Have you ever noticed how the word too changes everything? Love is beautiful until it becomes too much. Trust is essential until it is too much. Hope keeps us alive until it is too much. There's a strange paradox in life. What nourishes us in small measures can poison us in excess. It's like water. Without it, we die. With too much of it, we drown. And yet, in our moments of passion, we forget the delicate balance. We throw ourselves into people, ideas, and dreams without remembering that the same force that gives us joy has the power to hurt us deeply. We grow up hearing, "give your all," but giving your all doesn't mean giving yourself away. There's a difference between opening your heart and emptying it completely into someone else's hands. When you trust without boundaries, you're not being brave. You're leaving the door unlocked in a storm. When you love without self-awareness, you risk dissolving into someone else's shadow. And when you hope without wisdom, you set yourself up for a fall so steep, it feels like the world has turned against you. This isn't a call to stop trusting, loving, or hoping. It's a call to understand that balance is not coldness, and caution is not cynicism. Life is like walking a tightrope. Lean too far one way and you lose your footing. The art is in the middle, the place where you can give without being drained, believe without being blind, and dream without losing sight of reality. The truth is, you can still love fully while keeping a part of yourself untouched, like a quiet garden no one can trample. You can still trust while holding a piece of your discernment in reserve. You can still hope while preparing your heart for the storms that may come. Because strength is not in how much you give away, it's in how wisely you give. The small word "too" carries more weight than we often realize. It is the tipping point between harmony and harm, between nourishment and destruction. Love in its essence is a life-giving force. It inspires, it comforts, it transforms. Trust is the glue that binds people together, creating a foundation for relationships to grow. Hope is the light that guides us through the darkest of nights, keeping us moving forward even when the path is uncertain. But when we cross the invisible line from enough to too much, the same forces that once built us up can tear us down. It's like fire. In the right measure, it warms your home, cooks your food, and keeps you alive through winter. But when it grows uncontrolled, it burns your house to the ground. We often think that more of something good must be better, yet life shows us time and again that excess can distort even the purest emotions. Too much love can become obsession, too much trust can become gullibility, too much hope can become delusion. The danger lies not in the feeling itself, but in losing the ability to balance it with reality. When we trust without question, we stop noticing the red flags. When we love without boundaries, we ignore the signs that our well-being is being compromised. When we hope without grounding ourselves, we set expectations so high that reality will inevitably disappoint us. This is not because the world is cruel, but because we forget that all forces in life need moderation. Think of it as a scale. On one side you have giving, on the other protecting. Tilt too far toward giving and you risk emptiness. Tilt too far toward protecting and you risk isolation. Balance is the sweet spot where you can fully experience emotions without letting them control you. This is not about living cautiously to avoid pain entirely. That's impossible. It's about recognizing that too much of anything, no matter how beautiful, will eventually tip into harm. The wisdom comes in knowing when to pull back, when to take a breath before giving more of yourself. When to recognize that trust must be earned continuously, not just handed over without thought. When to remind yourself that hope should be paired with preparation. These moments of awareness are not acts of selfishness. They are acts of self-preservation, ensuring that you can keep loving, trusting, and hoping in a way that enriches your life rather than depletes it. The key is remembering that life is not just about the intensity of what you give, but also about the sustainability of what you give. A steady flame will light your way far longer than a wildfire. The goal is not to feel less, but to feel wisely, so that your love, trust, and hope continue to lift you up instead of weighing you down. Boundaries are often misunderstood. Many people hear the word and imagine walls, distance, or coldness. But boundaries are not about shutting people out. They are about keeping yourself whole while letting others in. They are the invisible lines that protect your identity, your energy, and your emotional health. Without them, even the purest connections can become draining. Think of yourself as a garden. Without a fence, anyone can walk in, take what they want, and trample the flowers without realizing the damage they cause. A fence doesn't mean you don't want people to visit. It means you value what you've grown enough to protect it. In the same way, boundaries in trust, love, and hope ensure that you can share yourself without being consumed. When you trust without boundaries, you hand over not just your faith, but also your power. You give others the ability to shape your happiness without any limits. When you love without boundaries, you risk losing sight of who you are, molding yourself entirely to fit someone else's needs. And when you hope without boundaries, you can end up waiting endlessly for a reality that will never arrive, neglecting the life you could be living now. Healthy boundaries allow you to give generously while still having something left for yourself. They help you recognize the difference between supporting someone and carrying their entire load. They help you see when your trust is being honored and when it is being exploited. They help you feel deeply without drowning in your emotions. This isn't selfishness, it's sustainability. Just like you cannot pour water from an empty jug, you cannot give endlessly without eventually running dry. Boundaries also bring clarity. They help you define what behaviors you will accept and what you will not. They show others how to treat you and teach them that your kindness is not weakness. When people know your limits, they are less likely to take advantage, and you are more likely to attract relationships built on mutual respect. Establishing these limits doesn't mean you love less. It means you love with wisdom. It means you recognize that protecting your inner world allows you to show up for others in a healthier, more consistent way. In truth, boundaries deepen connection because they prevent resentment from building up. They ensure that what you give is a choice, not an obligation. Life will always bring moments that test your limits. The difference between being broken by them and growing through them often lies in how well you protect your emotional space. Boundaries are not barriers to love, trust, and hope. They are the very structure that allows them to thrive without destroying you. Loving deeply is one of the most beautiful human experiences, but it becomes dangerous when love turns into self-erasure. To truly love someone is to share your life, your heart, and your care without losing the essence of who you are. Yet many people unknowingly give away not just their affection, but their entire identity, shaping themselves to fit someone else's expectations. This isn't love, it's surrendering your own soul in the name of connection. Love should not feel like vanishing into another person's shadow. It should be two lights shining together, not one light consuming the other. When you lose yourself in love, you risk building your worth entirely around someone else's presence and approval. If they leave or change, you may feel as if you no longer know who you are without them. That's why keeping a part of yourself untouched is not selfish. It's essential. Imagine your heart as a home. You can open your doors to guests, let them explore, share meals, and create memories. But there should still be a private room, a sanctuary no one else can alter. That private room is your inner self, your dreams, values, passions, and beliefs. When you guard it, you ensure that your identity stays intact no matter what happens in the relationship. Loving without losing yourself means being able to give without expecting to be completed by the other person. It's recognizing that love should enhance your life, not replace it. In healthy love, you maintain your individuality while supporting the individuality of the one you love. You celebrate each other's differences instead of reshaping yourselves to match perfectly. This also means understanding the difference between sacrifice and self-neglect. Sacrifice is choosing to give for the good of the relationship while still preserving your well-being. Self-neglect is abandoning your needs, dreams, or values just to keep someone else happy. True love does not require you to betray yourself. Keeping a part of yourself means you can stand on your own 2 feet even if the relationship changes. It gives you strength when life throws challenges your way. It also allows you to love more genuinely because your affection comes from a place of wholeness rather than desperation. A love rooted in wholeness is more stable, less anxious, and far less likely to collapse under pressure. The deepest and most enduring relationships are not those where one person disappears into the other, but those where two complete individuals walk side by side, hand in hand, without losing sight of themselves. When you love in this way, you give the best of yourself, not the last of yourself, and that difference can mean everything. Trust is the foundation upon which all meaningful relationships stand, but like any foundation, it must be built with care. Trust without discernment is like leaving your door wide open in the middle of the night, not because you expect harm, but because you've forgotten that caution protects what matters. While trust is necessary for closeness, blind trust leaves you vulnerable to disappointment, betrayal, and emotional harm. Discernment is the quiet voice that says, "Pay attention." It doesn't mean doubting everyone or expecting the worst. It means observing patterns, listening to actions as well as words, and recognizing when someone's behavior doesn't align with their promises. When you trust blindly, you place your well-being entirely in the hands of another person without checking whether they can carry that responsibility. It's not cynicism to be cautious, it's wisdom. Imagine walking across a bridge. You may want to get to the other side, but you wouldn't cross without glancing down to see if the planks are sturdy. In the same way, trusting wisely means testing the strength of someone's integrity before relying on it completely. You still step forward, but you do so with awareness. People often confuse trust with unconditional access. You can trust someone in certain areas of your life without granting them full control over all of it. Healthy trust is layered. It grows as people consistently show they are dependable. If someone's words and actions align over time, your trust deepens naturally. If they falter, discernment allows you to adjust rather than collapse. Wise trust also involves knowing when to rebuild and when to walk away. Not every broken promise should be ignored in the name of loyalty. Trust, once damaged, can be repaired, but only with effort, honesty, and time. If those are missing, continuing to trust blindly will only lead to more pain. This balanced approach doesn't mean you live with suspicion. Rather, it allows you to remain open without being naive. It's a recognition that trust is not a one-time gift. It's an ongoing exchange, sustained by truth and respect. And when you practice discernment, you protect your emotional health while still giving people the opportunity to show you who they truly are. Trust with discernment is ultimately a gift to both you and those around you. It keeps your heart safe without closing it off and ensures that when you do place your faith in someone, it's a choice grounded in reality rather than a gamble based on hope alone. In this way, your relationships can be both open and secure, both warm and wise. Hope is one of the most powerful forces in the human spirit. It keeps us moving forward when everything around us feels uncertain. It gives us the courage to dream of something better, to endure difficult seasons, and to believe that tomorrow can be different from today. But hope without preparation is like setting sail without checking the weather. You may be inspired by the horizon, but you're not ready for the storm. Hoping wisely means allowing yourself to dream while keeping your feet firmly planted in reality. It's the understanding that while life can bring beautiful surprises, it can also deliver painful setbacks. If you place all your happiness on one specific outcome without considering the possibility of delays, changes, or loss, you set yourself up for heartbreak that feels unbearable. Balanced hope, on the other hand, allows you to remain steady no matter how the outcome unfolds. This doesn't mean you expect failure. It means you prepare for life's unpredictability. You can hope for a promotion while still working hard and saving money in case it doesn't come. You can hope for a relationship to grow deeper while still nurturing your own independence. You can hope for a dream to come true while also having alternate paths to follow if the timing isn't right. Preparation doesn't weaken hope, it strengthens it. When you have a plan for the what-ifs, you remove the fear that disappointment will completely undo you. You no longer cling to hope desperately. Instead, you carry it like a steady flame, protected by the shelter of resilience. Even if one dream falls apart, you have the inner strength and the practical steps to move toward another. Many people mistake boundless hope for positivity, but unchecked hope can easily slide into denial. If you ignore warning signs or refuse to accept reality because your hope blinds you, you risk prolonging your pain. Wise hope doesn't ignore the truth. It works with it, it says. I see the challenges, but I still believe in a way forward. The most enduring kind of hope is not fragile. It bends without breaking. It allows you to hold your vision for the future while also adapting when circumstances change. You keep your heart open but your mind aware. This balance means that when life surprises you, whether in joy or in challenge, you're ready to receive it without losing your sense of self. Hope with preparedness is not just an emotional shield. It's a compass. It keeps you moving toward the light without becoming lost if the path takes unexpected turns. In the end, this kind of hope doesn't just help you survive disappointment. It ensures you can thrive, no matter what the outcome may be. Life is a dance between giving and keeping, between opening your heart and protecting it. Love, trust, and hope are not weaknesses. They are the lifeblood of human connection. But without balance, they can also become the very things that wound us most deeply. Too much of anything, even the most beautiful emotions, can tip into harm if we forget the importance of boundaries, self-preservation, and wisdom. The truth is, you were never meant to pour yourself out until nothing remains. You were never meant to trust so blindly that you abandon discernment, nor to hope so fiercely that reality becomes invisible. The purpose of these gifts is not to drain you, but to sustain you, to give you strength, joy, and meaning while still keeping you whole. When you love without losing yourself, you give the kind of love that lasts. When you trust with discernment, you build connections rooted in respect rather than illusion. When you hope with preparedness, you remain unshaken even when life doesn't go according to plan. Balance doesn't make you cold. It makes you unbreakable. So keep loving, but let your love include yourself. Keep trusting, but let your trust be guided by truth. Keep hoping, but let your hope be anchored in readiness. This way, no matter what life takes, it can never take you. Because the goal is not to stop feeling, it's to feel in a way that leaves you standing strong, no matter how hard the wind blows. And when you master that, you'll find that love, trust, and hope don't just survive, they thrive.